Hello, and welcome to a new episode of Italian Songs Explained. Today we're gonna look at the second part of the song La locomotiva by Francesco Guccini. If you've missed my previous video of part 1, you can find it on my channel. Let's continue with the second part. E sul binario stava la locomotiva. La macchina pulsante sembrava fosse cosa viva. Sembrava un giovane puledro che, appena liberato il freno, mordesse la rotaia con muscoli d'acciaio, con forza cieca di baleno. Now, here we find some of the words that we saw together on another previous video of mine, where we saw the vocabulary related to trains. We find here binario, we find locomotiva. These are two words that were present in the vocabulary, so you should know the meaning of them. If you don't, or if you don't remember, binario is the platform or the track, the train track. In this case, it's the train track. And locomotiva is obviously the locomotive, so it's the driving engine of the train. La macchina, it's the word for car, but in this case it's also machine. Pulsante. Now, pulsante, it's an adjective here, and it means like pulsating, like beating, like a heartbeat. But pulsante, if it's a noun, it's another word for button. We can also say bottone, we can say tasto, we can also say pulsante. They all pretty much mean the same thing, a button. Something you can press, right? That kind of button, not the one that you have on your clothes. Next, la macchina pulsante sembrava. Sembrare, it's a very useful word, and it means to look like, to feel like, or to smell like, to sound like. Everything that looks or sounds or smells or whatever like something else, sembra, sembrare. And in this case, sembrava fosse cosa viva. It looked or it sounded like a living thing. A living thing. Here we have the verb again, sembrava. So it looked like, or it sounded like, un giovane puledro. Puledro, it's a word that is not very common, and it's the word for a baby horse, a little horse. So here, a young horse, or baby horse, che ha appena liberato il freno, that just released the brake like in that of a car. Mordesse la rotaia. Mordere, it's to bite. La rotaia, it's the piece, the metal part of the train tracks, the two lines of metal that make the train tracks. Con muscoli d'acciaio. Muscoli, it's muscles. Acciaio is steel, so with muscles of steel. Con forza cieca di baleno. Forza is force or power. Cieco means blind. Di baleno. Baleno, it's a not very common word, and it means like a flash or a lightning. It's not very common. It's the most of the time it's used in a phrase that we will see later on because he uses it. So let's continue. E un giorno come gli altri, ma forse con più rabbia in corpo, pensò che aveva il modo di riparare a qualche torto. Salì sul mostro che dormiva, cercò di mandar via la sua paura, e prima di pensare a quel che stava a fare, il mostro divorava la pianura. So, È un giorno come gli altri, a day like the others, but perhaps with more anger in his body. He thought he had a way, il modo, di riparare a qualche torto, to right some wrongs, so to turn something that has been done against you into something more just, right? To right some wrongs. He climbed on the monster, on the sleeping monster, the monster that slept. He tried to send his fear away. So here, to send away his fear, la paura, fear. And before he thought what he was about to do, stava a fare, it means he was about to do something. Il mostro divorava la pianura. The monster, we saw that before. The monster devoured or was devouring the plain, la pianura. Right? Let's continue. Correva l'altro treno ignaro e quasi senza fretta. Nessuno immaginava di andare verso la vendetta. Ma alla stazione di Bologna arrivò la notizia in un baleno. Notizia di emergenza, agite con urgenza, un pazzo si è lanciato contro al treno. Okay. So here we have another train. The other train was running. Ignaro. Ignaro means that the train did not know something, didn't know about something. Ignaro is like unsuspecting or unknowing to it. E quasi, almost, senza fretta, without hurry, without a hurry. Nessuno, nobody, immaginava, immaginare means imagine, di andare verso la vendetta. Vendetta is revenge. So nobody imagined that they were heading towards revenge. But at the train station in Bologna, Bologna is a city in mid-northern Italy, the news, la notizia, the news came, and here we have the phrase I was telling you about, in un baleno. In un baleno means in a flash, like immediately, very, very fast. Notizia d'emergenza, emergency news. Agite con urgenza, act urgently. Un pazzo si è lanciato contro al treno. Un pazzo is a madman. Someone who is not in his right mind. Si è lanciato, has thrown himself against or at the train. Right? Next. Ma intanto corre la locomotiva. E sibila al vapore e sembra quasi cosa viva. E sembra dire ai contadini curvi il fischio che si spande in aria. Fratello, non temere, che corro al mio dovere. Trionfi la giustizia proletaria. Okay. Here we get into the philosophy or the ideology of the song a little bit. Ma intanto is meanwhile. It means that something is happening at the same time as something else. Meanwhile. Corre. It runs. La locomotiva. The locomotive. Now you can see that in this song, a lot of the time the verb comes before the subject. This is just a freedom that is allowed to people that write songs or poems, but generally the subject comes before the verb. Okay, just you see this position switching. It's a song. It's not a book. Ok? È sibila al vapore e sembra quasi cosa viva. Sibilare, it's a onomatopoeia, right? Difficult word. But it's a sound, it's a word that sounds like a sound, right? So sibilare. Similar to English where it's hiss, to hiss. It's similar sounds, okay? And vapore is the steam. So the steam was hissing. And it looked, here we go again, sembrare, it looked almost like a living thing. He repeats this. Here we have the verb again. E sembra dire i contadini. I contadini are land people, peasants, people that work the land. Curvi means that they are bent over because they are working the land, right? So they are bended. Il fischio is the whistle che si spande in aria. Spandere means that it's spreading. So that it's the whisper that spreads through the air. And what does it say? Brother, fear not, for I run to my duty, mio dovere. Dovere is something that you have to do or something that you're called to do. Trionfi la giustizia proletaria. Let the proletarian justice triumph. Okay? Then we continue. What is going to happen now? E intanto corre sempre più forte. E corre verso la morte. E ormai niente può trattenere l'immensa forza distruttrice. Aspetta solo lo schianto e poi che giunga il manto della grande consolatrice. Okay? So here we have the same words. Again, the important thing here is, sorry about that, sempre più forte. Sempre più forte means faster and faster. Sempre più is used in this case, so sempre più piano, slower and slower. Sempre più forte, faster and faster. Sempre più dolce, sweeter and sweeter, and so on. E corre verso la morte. Towards death. E niente ormai può trattenere l'immensa forza distruttrice. Forza, we saw before. It means power. Okay? Niente, nothing. Ormai, at this point. Trattenere. Trattenere means to hold back. Can hold back the immense destructive force or power. Aspetta solo schianto. Okay? Aspettare, to wait. Schianto is the crash. E poi che giunga il manto. And then the mantle, for the mantle to come. The mantle of the great comforter. So to consolare, it means to comfort someone. And it's just like a metaphor or a euphemism for death. Ok, let's continue. La storia ci racconta come finì la corsa. La macchina deviata lungo una linea morta. Con l'ultimo suo grido d'animale, la macchina eruttò lapilli e lava. Esplose contro il cielo, poi il fumo sparse il velo, lo raccolsero che ancora respirava. Okay, here we're coming towards the end of the story. And this is how it ended. La storia, the story, ci racconta, tells us, come finì la corsa. La corsa is the ride. La macchina deviata. Deviata means diverted along a deadline. Con l'ultimo suo grido. Grido is a cry or a shout d'animale. La macchina eruttò, erupted. Lapilli e lava. Lava, you know it. Lapilli, to be honest, I have no idea what it means. It's just little pieces of lava that just come out of a volcano. It's almost the same thing as lava, I suppose, just that lava is like a much bigger. Lapilli is just it's like drops of lava. It's not that important anyway. Esplose contro il cielo, poi il fumo sparse il velo. Sparse, again, it could be scattered or laid, it depends. Il velo, the veil. Lo raccolsero che ancora respirava. They gathered him, che ancora respirava, and he was still breathing. Okay? Last verse. Ma a noi piace pensarlo ancora dietro al motore, mentre fa correr via la macchina a vapore, e che ci giunga un giorno ancora la notizia di una locomotiva come una cosa viva, lanciata a bomba contro l'ingiustizia. Okay? So here is the singer, Guccini, who is talking to us, and he says that we like, a noi piace pensarlo ancora dietro al motore, behind the engine, mentre, as o while, fa correr via la macchina a vapore, the steam engine, right? We saw these two words before. E che ci giunga. Giunga is the verb giungere, and it's the same meaning as arrivare. Okay, so that we still get the news in this case. But giungere means arrivare, to arrive. Un giorno ancora la notizia, the news, di una locomotiva come una cosa viva, lanciata a bomba contro l'ingiustizia. Okay? I think this is pretty straightforward. Lanciata, perhaps to throw, lanciare. So, as of a locomotive thrown like a bomb against injustice. Okay, so here you find all of the lyrics in Italian with the translation in English. You can stop the video and check them out. See if you are okay with every word. And we'll see each other on the next episode.